Brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. My name is Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network, and this is your best bets for Saturday's Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. We'll do best bets on this show. We'll break down all sorts of angles. We've got props. We've got a side. We might have a total. We'll try and get you an SGP that we'll hammer out later on. And everything we talk about can be found in the award-winning Action Network app. Best way for you to track your picks. You get up-to-the-second information where the bets and money are coming in, as well as you should check out youtube.com/the Action Network. We'll have buckets live Monday and Tuesday night following Game 4. So make sure to check that out on youtube.com/the Action Network right after the game. Just cruise on over to YouTube. Check us out. It's been really great stuff because we get such a good look at how the market is forming, what the price points are early on, about where the buy points and sell points are, how those things are evolving. You get to really catch up on these markets as they first come out after these games. So check it out. Buckets live after Monday and Tuesday's Game 4s because, I can't schedule anything past that because I don't know if we're going to have them. All right, let's get to this. The Boston Celtics roll in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, just crushing the Indiana Pacers. Competitive game. First half was really competitive. Pacers wouldn't go away. Jaylen Brown puts up 40. If you will remember, I put out an article that put up, I'm going to take a small victory lap here. I put out an article that had Jaylen Brown most points in the game, like scoring leader for the game at plus 220. That was a good hit for us, as well as I had Boston -9. That cashed, so good roll there. This one's a lot tougher, and I will tell you straight up going in right now, I do not know what I'm going to be on, so I'm hoping these two guys can help me out. I got J Money. J Money is Money on YouTube and in the Action Network app. I got Sean Little from MSG Networks at Chicago Flow. Sean, what are your best bets for Game 3 in the ECF?
Yeah, Matt, really quick, it was more the first quarter of that Game 2 because I was the only one that bricked on our best bets plays. First half came in, full game came in. They kept it tight in the first quarter. Second quarter, it was blown off the rails. Good call on Jaylen Brown. I'm going to go Pacers first half, plus 3.5, -120. And I'm going to go over to Miles Turner, 2+ triples, -135.
J Money, what do you like?
I'm running it back with Pascal Siakam, over 30.5 points and rebounds.
Okay, Tyrese Halliburton's probably going to be listed as questionable for this game when the injury report comes out. Suffered a hamstring injury last night. And usually I'd be like, well, I don't know. Like, we'll see. Maybe he just tweaked it. Maybe he'll be fine. But this is the Boston Celtics we're talking about, so I assume that his leg was amputated. This number opened at Pacers +6 at home. To me, Sean, that's a Halliburton is out number based off of the flip because otherwise that means that the home court flip here is only 3 points from Boston to Indy, and that doesn't make any sense, right? They're 9-point favorites in Boston. They're 6-point favorites in Indy. That doesn't make any sense. So this is definitely a Halliburton is out. The money has come in pretty early. This is what's interesting. Bets are coming in on Pacers. Money's split, and we're tracking sharp action on Boston. And yet there's a 6.5 in the market, and there's a 7. We'll see where this thing goes. Sean, just kind of your reaction in terms of, are you with me that this is a Halliburton's not going to play number?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a really tough spot. We try to get everyone content as soon as we can and make sure they got something to listen to and break down and potentially go and print out some tickets before these games. But as we record this here on Friday afternoon, we have no news on Tyrese Halliburton. And if he doesn't go, it's a lot of the things that I'm getting ready to handicap and talk about, especially when we're talking about the Indiana Pacers. It's null and void. You could throw it out the window because there's, especially him on that team, I just can't back them in any way, shape, or form without him on the floor. So we'll see how it shakes. I mean, there's also going to be the factor that if he goes, how effective is he? I assume that he's going to try to go. It didn't look as bad as some other hamstring things that we've seen, but it's also the same hamstring that he's been dealing with throughout the back half of the year. And also salute to him for, fighting through it and ending up on that third-team All-NBA for that extra $41 million. The goal was achieved. That was the only reason he was out there playing in the first place on that hamstring, was to make that money. He got the money. But I'm just not sure how healthy that hamstring is and is going to be. And without knowing that information and seeing him, it's a really difficult spot that we're in here trying to handicap a game without one of the best player on the Pacers being in question.
All right, we'll come back to that. Let's skip over to Jay's cap here on Pascal Siakam. Wrote it in game 2 and it hit. He's been lights out. They don't really have a great matchup for him. Jay, I assume that with no Tyrese Halliburton, you just love this even more.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it with Halliburton. I like it without Halliburton. Obviously, you have to like it even more. They have to continue to ride Siakam here. I mean, sometimes, like I said, laid out in for game 2. Sometimes you could have the better team, which are the Celtics, but still, without Porzingis down there, it just don't have a matchup for Siakam down there, man. He could do whatever he wants in the paint. He actually hit 2 threes in game 2 as well. But regardless of that, man, he can get some boards. He didn't have as many. I know he had 12 rebounds in game 1. He only had 5 in game 2, but 28 points. I mean, he should go for 30 points in this one. Even like Sean was saying in game 2, that he could damn near go for this just over his points. So with adding the rebounds as well, it's just a little bit of extra insurance in that one. But Siakam, just absolute horrible matchup. He'll probably play, I mean, especially with this being a really pivotal game 3, he'll probably play like maybe 44 minutes in this game. He might play 44, 45 minutes in this one, getting to the foul line as well. I'd like for Halliburton. I agree with you, man. It looks like Halliburton's probably going to be out here. That gives me a little hesitation. We know that when teams see a guy out, they kind of take their foot off their gas or whatever. So I'd still be a little hesitant laying the points with the Celtics in this particular spot. Maybe if TJ McConnell starts in this one, it might even be a little better for the Pacers. We know that he's not the shot maker that Tyrese Halliburton is, but he's going to go out there and give all effort, energy. He's going to give it his all in this game, and he's a lot better defender as well. What do we see in game 2? They were attacking Halliburton every single play, which obviously McConnell's a smaller player, but he's still a pest out there. He's a lot better defender than Halliburton. So I've got to ride it back with Siakam. I think that even if they get swept, he could cash this in every single game versus Celtics. Just a horrible matchup. Tatum can't check him. Al Horford can't check him. They don't have anybody off the bench. He's the one guy for the Pacers that's going to continue to be a matchup nightmare for the Celtics over there. So I'll run it back with Siakam. I think he goes 3-0 in his points and rebounds versus Celtics.
Yeah, I'm going to tail Jay on that play, and we should add that. We should add at least – which of the points, rebounds, assists do you feel most confident in? I know you want all 3. I'm asking for the SGP because we usually can't get a combo prop on the SGP. So if we do it, you like points most?
Yeah, I like the points the most for sure.
All right, Sean, let's talk side here in the first half. So usually there's all these back and forths, right? My first lean was like Indiana. Okay, Celtics are up 2-0. They're super comfortable coming back. This is where the Celtics usually fuck up, right? Now, they almost fucked up in game 1, and that's really kind of thrown off my entire cap for the series because I thought Boston would blow them out in game 1, and we'd have a really good spot for catching them in game 2. Instead, it was close. Boston sharpened up like I gave out on the pod for game 2. They cover, and now it's like, okay, is now where the Boston, like, is the Boston fuck around game coming? Maybe not. Usually when a star player is out, if you'll go back to the Indiana series versus Milwaukee, hey, I was all over Bucks in game 5 because I was like, nope, this is a completely different team they're playing. Not the same squad. This is just a totally different team, and there's a letdown spot here. I love the Bucks here. I like being able to get those spots. I like the rah-rah spots. I like getting those like, oh man, we gotta do this. We gotta win it for Hallie. Like I like those opportunities. And throughout the playoffs, there's been a lot of moments and series games where it's like, oh, they were better with Halliburton off the floor than on. That hasn't been the case in the series. So as you would imagine, they're losing the minutes with Halliburton because they've lost 2 and they got stomped in game 2. But with Halliburton on the floor, they're losing by 6 points per 100 possessions. They're losing by 17 points per 100 possessions with Halliburton off.
Shit.
Not great, Bob. And so even if they play better without Halliburton, that significantly limits them because one of the things is TJ McConnell can play in the series, but I don't think he should be playing as big of a role as he is. And I think Carlisle's a little bit off in playing him as much as he is. I'll be interested to see kind of like who they slot into the starting unit if Hallie can't go. But Sean, you're going to go ahead and stick with this home crowd down 0-2, bump that first half play, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Matt, do you know who you're talking to? Do you know who's on this pod with you? Me and John live for a rah-rah spot and finding a reason why we should back a team that has nothing to do with breaking down super analytics, which we also do as well. If we can find some spot that's backed by analytics, and then we can find a little extra motivation, that's where I think me and Jay Money are definitely even keel and aligned on. So yeah, I got to go with the desperation spot with the Pacers and back them. And like Jay said, I do agree. At least in that first 24 minutes, you're going to get the full slate of Pacers, and even if it's Hallie or TJ McConnell, I think they should still be able to hang in that first half. They've done it. If you go back to game one, they of course hung in game one in the first half, and then in that first quarter they were really locked in. The only time they've let go of the rope is that second quarter in game two, where they just gave up a 21-0 run and then they never got back in the game. So they have shown big chunks of competitive ball against this Boston Celtics team, and I think going home is where they at least can put it together for the first portion of the game and potentially push it for a cover as well. At home in the first half of this playoffs, 6-0 straight up, 4-2 against the spread. So we know how well they've been playing at home. So I got to back the desperation spot there. With Halliburton or not, that Miles Turner play is very indicative of Tyrese Halliburton playing, because when Halliburton doesn't play, Miles Turner is a different guy. We'll get into that.
I hate this game. I hate it.
It's a tough game.
I hate it.
It is a really tough. It is a really tough game overall, because we are setting up for Boston. We've actually talked about this multiple times. When the Boston Celtics do fuck around, they bounce back. That's exactly what happened in game one. They messed around. They almost lost, should have lost. Bounced back in a major way in game two. Where are we at in the Boston ebb and flow right now, going on the road up 2-0, potentially with the Pacers, best player not in rotation. So we're trying to handicap a game where we don't know if Halliburton's going to go, and then we're trying to figure out a team that we haven't been able to figure out how they're going to show up game to game, night to night for 2 full years. So it is difficult.
All right, some trends. First half spread, down 0-2. Okay. We're sitting at 81, 48, and 2 at 63%. So
what is it when they're a dog, Matt?
Well, let's look at that.
Because I know usually the books
favorite.
will favor them heavily. Yeah.
Still 35 and 26. That's a ROI of 10.5%.
What's also interesting here too is there's a book out there that's hanging 4.5 plus 4.5, but it's juiced to minus 140. I've seen Pacers +3, and then a book has them +4.5 minus 140. Yeah. So there is a little bit of disagreement, but then they're also charging you a very heavy price.
Yeah, so like BetMGM, we're at +3.5 minus 120 first half.
Right.
Like,
damn.
This is the spot. Well, I mean, this is what they've started doing. Is the books have caught on as sports betting has become more popular, and there's more content providers like us to be like, hey, by the way, these are really good first half spots. Mm-hmm. Those specific kind of spots, and this is across sports. You see it with the NFL too, where like those spots are getting priced. They're not like removing them. They're not adjusting the line. They're just like, oh no, we'll give you the same number. We'll give you the same number. You're just gonna have to pay a little bit more on the vig for it, which is mean. I'll just say that.
No, they don't. They don't. No, they've started to bump it up, man. Like we've seen. All right, so let's say like when the Suns were down 2-0 versus the Wolves and they went home. I believe they were like minus 3.5, minus 4.5, something like that. That first half will still be minus 3.5, minus 4. Even so, we obviously used to see like around like half of the spread. No, they've adjusted. And it's to the point where they almost like over adjust. And some of these times it doesn't really hit. 3 or 4 years ago, that shit hit almost every single time. And it's like, hold on, we're getting smoked on this. And then they're like, all right, so let's bump it up a couple extra points. And you almost see the first half spread is the same as the full game. Obviously they probably are thinking that Halliburton is out in this one. That's why this number is so high, as you alluded to. Because like when I looked at the line, I'm like, damn, Celtics -6, -7. Like, damn, because I was looking ahead to this. I wanted to take Pacers game 3. That's what I wanted to do. And I was like, all right, Celtics going to be -2 in this game. But obviously with the injury, I mean, that's the only reason why we're seeing that heavy of a number. But I actually think Celtics fuck around here. They're 9-0 on the road. And the script is flipped with a lot of these series as well. We saw the Mavericks. They lost both game 1s. Then they came out and won game 1. What did the Celtics do? They would win game 1, lose game 2, and then win game 3 and game 4 as well, Matt. So the fact that they've 9-0 on the road, we've seen these trends change up until this point, like in the finals. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics mess around. But I would like Halliburton to get ruled out and they go up to like 8.5, 9. I think the Pacers will be a good look there, especially with everyone taking the Celtics. I think that like you go against the whole world and take the Pacers like at the last minute. That's what I would do.
Power rating, I make this 4. Let's give Hallie 2 points because in playoffs, I don't think he's been as effective. Like regular season, I make him 3.5. Let's do 2. That gets us to 6. That's like a half point below the opening line, a full point below where you can get it in the market. That's not bad value on taking Pacers on the spread line, but I feel like if Boston comes out here and smokes them, or if the Hallie thing just makes them be like, well, you know what, we made the conference finals, that's it, and they just get hit and they'll just go down. On the other hand, I thought about playing Celtics money line, but here's like a problem. When you're down 0-2 past the first round and you cover, yeah, you're 10-0. 10-0 straight up when you cover. Can't do that. So I clearly cannot drink the wine in front of the Celtics, and I clearly cannot drink the wine in front of the Pacers. So I'm going to leave it the fuck alone. I will just, you know what I'm going to do? Here's my best bet. Boston Celtics to win the NBA title. There's my best bet for this show. It's the Boston Celtics to win the NBA title. Let's do an SGP though. We're going to hammer out an SGP, same game parlay. All right. So if we do first half spread, Indiana Pacers plus 3.5 from Sean, minus 120. If we do Pascal Siakam to score 25 plus points, and I want to add Jaylen Brown to score 25 plus here. It's minus 250. Jay, is there a chance? If the Celtics lose this game, don't Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both still score?
I don't like that he's coming off the 40 ball. I feel like they kind of go back and forth, and like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, now it's Tatum's turn, because I still think Tatum like wants to be that guy. It's like, all right, now I'm Batman this game around. So.
Yeah.
But Jaylen Brown, he has a great matchup.
I'm trying to make fetch happen here because I have Jaylen Brown. I have a Jaylen Brown, Luka Doncic Finals MVP or Conference Finals MVP parlay from preseason at like 28-1. So I'm trying to make fetch happen here. Let's stay away from that. Let's keep it simple. First half spread: Indiana Pacers plus 3.5. Siakam to score 25 plus. That gets us to plus 375 on the parlay. That's a good payout. Let's go ahead and take a 2-leg SGP at BetMGM. First half spread, Pacers plus 3.5. Siakam to score 25 plus. I think you should just bet the Celtics to win the NBA title, and we're good. That's going to do it for Buckets. My thanks to David Payne for producing today, apparently from Abe Lincoln's family home. My thanks to Sean Little for broadcasting today on internet, apparently provided by a DSL modem in 2002. And my thanks to Jay Money for helping me steer clear of some bad looks today. My thanks to Hutton Jackson, the video crew, getting us up on youtube.com/The Action Network. As a reminder, we got Buckets live on Monday and Tuesday next week. That's your last show for the week. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the games. Michael Fiddle and I'll be back with you on Sunday night for Monday Best Bets. Thanks for joining us. Till then, let's get buckets.